Hey everyone, I am out here in my garden. It has snowed, it has rained, and it has stormed. We had a little disaster in the Scaredy Cat Garden. And I'm just thankful that no one was hurt and no major property was damaged. Now, we had some snow recently. It wasn't very much like a lot of people have gotten. But for my area, which is zone 8A, it was a bit of snow for my zone. But before it snowed, this past Sunday, we had a storm. There was no lightning and there was no thundering. But at about 6 a.m., we heard this huge, horrendous noise. It woke us up out of our sleep. It wasn't daylight yet. It was probably, I don't know, I thought it was like 6, but I think it was dark outside still. But it was maybe about 5 or something. So immediately we started praying because we didn't know if it was a tornado or what. It was that loud of a noise. And as the noise got louder and louder and louder, it kind of shook the house. And we were like, oh my God, what is going on? We had heard the rain earlier, but that's all we heard. We didn't hear any thunder. We didn't see any lightning. Just the rain. Hard rain, but just the rain. And we wondered what it was. But we tried to get up and look, but it was so dark outside, like pitch black. We couldn't see anything. And it stopped. As fast and as hard as it hit, it stopped. We were like, oh my God, what is that? Okay. The next morning, when I woke up, this is what I found. So you all hear all the birds in this big, beautiful tree, right? All the birds that are always in my videos. I've showed the hawks that have been sitting on the fence. This tree is a tree that my granddaughters would climb in the summertime and run under and hide, so they thought. Big, huge tree. You see how tall this tree is, right? Big, massive tree. We had all kind of birds in it. And they would sing and probably dance. Well, the noise we heard was the big, beautiful tree breaking. Look at that. You see that? That's where the tree broke at. And as you can see, the other half of the tree on the right side is still leaning. Now the weight of the tree, the weight of the rain, is what broke the tree. Lightning didn't strike, thunder didn't roar, but it was the strength of the rain and all the branches that broke the tree. You see how big this tree is? It's now in my yard. It's in my yard. The whole half of the yard is covered. And so we're going to have it taken down. We might have to have this other half taken down because as you see, it's leaning towards the right, which is also leaning towards the fence. Part of it is leaning towards the fence. And although you may or may not can tell, the other part of it is actually leaning towards the house. So as this tree came down, this is what shook the house when it hit the ground. It's a massive tree. Look how big those tree is. Look how big the stump is. Look how big it is. I don't know how old that tree is, but it's massive. And you can see where it's broke. Now, we don't have a wood burning fireplace, unfortunately, so we're going to have it removed. I don't know if you're going to hear the birds in the background anymore. There are still trees up behind the house, but they're not like this tree where they lived at. But this is a massive tree, and the last thing we want is for it to come down on the house. Okay? But we are so very blessed that it did not hit the house. It did not hit my garden, because my garden is right here. See how close that is? See how close it is to the blueberry bushes and things in my garden? Although my garden is dead right now, it didn't hit it. It didn't damage anything. The fence, it's approximately 1 foot. If we walked over there from the fence, it didn't hit the fence. The fence at the top of it, it is just about touching that fence, but it didn't hit the fence. This could have been very, very devastating. And it could have been very damaging. See how it's touching the fence right there? Just the top of the tip of the branches. They're actually touching the fence, but it didn't hit the fence. So we actually had no property damage whatsoever. But if this tree had hit the house, we probably wouldn't be able to live here. It probably would have damaged the roof. And we would have had to move somewhere, if nothing else, temporarily. Okay? If it had come down. So it didn't damage the garden. It didn't damage the patio. It didn't damage the house. It did not damage the fence. So you all may not see, or I should say hear, you all may not hear the birds come spring. I don't know if we're going to try to take the whole tree down to prevent the other half from coming down, because now it's heavy weight on one side. And you can see behind me how it's leaning because I've turned around. It's actually leaning to the left now. But once this other half comes down, it's still bracing the half that's leaning to the left. So once we get this tree chopped up, we may have to cut the whole tree down. So I don't know where the birds will go, but hopefully they'll find a home nearby. I'm not sure of what this spring will bring. But I'm going to say something. There's a blessing in everything. You might be thinking, what blessing came out of that? I always try to find the good in everything. Now I'm going to tell you something. This particular yard, because of the tree and how big the tree was, it got sun, but it did not get a lot of sun. And it only got pretty much about 3 or 4 hours worth of sun because the tree shaded it. The tree blocked the sun. And now with the tree gone, I've been watching the sun. I'm getting, even though it's winter, I'm getting at least 4 to 5 hours worth of sunlight over my entire garden. So I was able to grow what I grew with partial sun each day. So I can imagine how well my garden will do now that I will be able to get more sun. I'm praying for that 6 to 8 hours of sunlight that I need. I don't know, but there's a blessing in everything. So I just wanted to show you all, so when you start asking me, what happened to the tree behind you? Because you will see that it'll be down, or part of it'll be down. I don't know yet if it's the whole thing will be down or just that half. You won't have to ask. If you don't hear as many birds, you'll say, you know why? They're not singing. Okay? So if you are new to the channel, and it's so windy out here and cold, it's probably about 20 degrees right now. If you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today in my garden. Take a second and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers together. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and channel members, thank you. Don't forget to check out my other channels, Cooking at Pam's Place, Pam's POV, and Pam's Pop-Ups, where I go live every now and then. Okay, I'm Pam. This is Zone 8A. And anywhere you can sit a pot, you can grow a plant.